It's a bull. It's a bull. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Here is our Deerfield live webcam, which Deerfield's a city that's 2 cities up from us here in Lauderdale by the Sea. I'm on Commercial Boulevard in LBTS. Like to start out our mornings with some local live cams. Usually it's of the water, and I love this underwater cam. One of my favorites here. You can find it. They run it all the time. Actually, it has sound with it too, so you can hear the fish talking. They're usually talking bad about me not catching them or something, I'm sure. Well, let's move along to today's topic, which I'm sure you're all pretty interested in. And don't worry, everything's under control here, so at least on my end of it. Let me just do a quick refresh. I've just been watching this kind of fall. We were down to 1778, the low, actually a 1775 low, and an 1820. That's from 1825 yesterday. And where were we at before? 1870s. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, we've seen a pretty much easy $100 drop in the last couple days. And why is that? Well, that's because of the Fed speak. Powell opened up his big yapper again. I kind of should have expected it. I mean, I expected a down day, but not as big as this. But this might have a lot to do with the upcoming Basel regulations that are coming up, shaking out a lot of weak hands. And again, it does provide us the opportunity to buy the frickin' dips. So let's take a look at the ranges. Again, 1775 to 1825. That was from yesterday's close in New York. And literally before that, it was up in the 1870s. So again, about a $100 whack for sure. Silver, same thing. Silver's back to its craziness a little bit. Look at this, down 89 cents, 90 cents from yesterday. I mean, we were almost at $28 at one point a few days ago, last week, and they banged it down. Look at that low, 26, almost hitting that $25 mark early this morning. But again, silver, this is what I'm used to with silver. Wild and crazy rides. It's the wild sibling of the 3 brothers, gold, silver, and platinum, or 3 siblings, whatever you want to call it. It's the wild one of the bunch. It's been acting quite tame for 50-cent moves, been hanging in that 27 plus range. But boy, like I said, did these markets get monkey hammered overnight? And I guess we should have expected it somewhat. I should have mentioned something about it earlier, but hell, I don't have a crystal ball, and I didn't think it was going to get hammered this much. But again, provides a great opportunity to do what? I'm not even going to say it. You know the word. Platinum too. All 3 of these metals are wonderful deals right now. Again, this provides another buying opportunity for you guys to buy metal at a much cheaper price. For those of you sitting on metals right now, just sit and hold. They're not going to go down further. It's not going to go. I mean, they may a little bit, but we're in a bull market right here, and you're just seeing the gyrations of a bull market. And let me show you what these gyrations look like right here. I'm going to pull up macro trend charts. I want to show you kind of where I think we are. I'm going to use a gold and silver. It's gold. I'm going to use the gold chart right here because silver will generally follow gold. There's a 100-year historical chart by Macro Trends, one of my favorite chartists out there. And here, look at this bull market right here in gold. Here's a bull market in gold. Here's our next bull market. You see that little choppy part right there, and then down right here? That's where we are. It's gone down here. We're down to what, 17 and change. We were as high as near that $1,900 mark for a little bit. And we did have a $2,000 mark. But this is where we are right here, folks. You see that mark right here? Here's your first big, giant, major bull market. And for some reasons, I feel that today's times are more similar to the 1970s with the inflation and them printing dollars in a major way. I feel we got more in common with the 1970s and 80s than we do with the most recent bull market, which was in 2012. That's after the collapse. I feel that what we're about to see is here we are right now. I think you're going to see this little down. See this down market right here? You're going to see these little choppy movements. See these choppy movements right here down? That's what we got today. One of these choppy movements before we get here. And again, here's your choppy movement. I think we're in for the next big high here. Again, that's my opinion. So let me go back here to markets. great opportunity to buy at these levels, folks. It's my opinion. The next question is, well, why is this happening? And I got a little pissy this morning. I got up this morning. I said, crap. I mean, of course I'm going to be a little pissy. I'm not selling any of my position, but I'm thinking to myself, well, this sure hurts the sentiment of gold with a lot of people, especially people that haven't bought gold and they're going to hear this in the corporate news. Gold down such and such. It's going to keep them in these crappy assets. But what really got going on there? It's welcome to the carnival, folks. It's a giant shit show we got going on. We're witnessing something really craziest things I've ever seen in my times as far as economics and politics goes. So we're really into one of the biggest carnivals. It's turned into a huge carnival, Las Vegas type scenario. That's what investing has become. And the Fed has become the casino. They make the rules. They can change the rules if they want, even anytime without telling you, because they own the casino. And that's basically what we've got here, a huge carnival type casino environment. And here's Powell right here. This is Powell. If you ask me, he is one of the carnival hucksters. Well, but that's not Powell. Powell owns the carnival, more or less. The central banks own the carnival. These are just their henchmen that sucker you in, try to sucker us into making bad moves. And as far as markets being rigged, it's a big carnival out there. Gold and silver markets are rigged. We kind of know this. We know they're manipulated. I've talked about this how many millions of times, so don't panic today. Not a big deal. Provides you a good opportunity to buy the dip, or just sit and wait. This too shall pass fairly fast. So gold and silver markets are rigged. Who are they rigged by? They're rigged by the carnival masters. And who is the biggest carnival master of all? The U.S. Fed. And again, like I said, it's like a casino. They own all the different games. The gold and silver game. Here's the gold and silver game right here. This could be the game in equities. This could be the game. So all these markets are rigged, and they're basically rigged by the Federal Reserve. The hugest bubble in history is what we're looking at right now. And again, that's basically U.S. government, which you could call the Fed somewhat. Gold and silver prices are manipulated. All the markets are rigged. Everything in our life seems to be a big carnival, Las Vegas type show with lots of rigging going on there. Equity markets are rigged. What else is rigged out there? I think that even elections may be rigged. So we're living in a giant carnival right now. Again, Wall Street being one of the carnival games, gold and silver being the other carnival game. The system is rigged entirely by the Federal Reserve and the governments. And once you know how that game is rigged, once you know who the player is, and if you notice, I own tons of gold and silver, folks, tons of it. I own it personally. I own it through my business. And I was a little upset this morning, I got to admit, but, I'm not worried about it. I've seen this happen. So I've been doing this since 1977, pretty much, and started working for my family and opened my own place in 1995. So I've been in the precious metals business a long time. I've seen these markets. I've been through two markets. I've been through $50 silver back down to $12 silver. I've been through $2,100 gold back down to where we are today. I've seen gold at $350 an ounce. I've bought silver eagles for $4 per coin. So I've been through all this many times. But I can tell you, without a fact, the system is rigged. And for the most part, it's rigged depending on what market you're in. As far as precious metals go, we're just roadkill as far as the Fed considers. They would rather not have private individuals out there buying and holding on to gold because that's their money. They don't want you holding on to their money. And why do I say it's their money? Think about what every central bank in the world does. Every central bank out there owns gold. They all own it. The Federal Reserve has gold. The United States central banks own gold. Fort Knox supposedly. Russia is increasing its gold supply. China has been on a tear, on a whirlwind, buying every piece of gold. They're even working their own mines in Central America and South America, pumping gold back to the Chinese mainland. Why are they holding gold? And why do they don't want you holding? The reason they're monkey hammering gold and silver and these precious metals is because they don't want you owning them. They want to own them themselves for their own nefarious purposes. And what are nefarious purposes? Central banks and governments are all about taxes. They're not about they're not about. Well, anyway, I'll get into that in a little bit. Of course, boy, I'm on a tear today, aren't I? So basically, you've got a huge carnival. You got all the markets are rigged out there, and the different markets. Gold. This is the gold market. This could be the equity market with this particular carnival game. There's all types of carnival games. There's basketballs. There's bowling pins you have to knock over with a baseball. There's those little rings you throw on bottles. Just picture those as each of the different carnival games, or Las Vegas. We could even call it a Vegas game because you're gambling, more or less. So it's more like Vegas. And then who is the master of all these games? Who runs the carnival? Well, the Fed, central banks run the carnival. And, the market, it is rigged. It's absolutely rigged. And the very base part of all the markets, equities, gold and silver, all these markets are rigged. The whole basis behind it is the Fed fueling money out there. They can determine who lives and who dies. And again, they want the gold markets to get monkey hammered down because they want you in the equity markets. They want you buying a house, and they want you buying stocks and bonds and all the things that they can tax. Governments can tax this. That's what governments and the central banks live on. The percentage they make loaning money to governments and loaning money to whomever they loan to. Who knows nowadays? There's no clarity. There's no transparency with central banks. They don't have to tell you what they're doing. They can do whatever they want. So there's no transparency there, and they can make or break markets. That's exactly what they do. And they're self-serving because, again, they make their money from governments mostly. Governments borrow money. The Treasury borrows money from the Fed. They pay them back. And all the Fed board members, trust me on this too, Powell and all these chairmen and all these people that own these Fed banks, they make tons of money loaning money to the governments. How does the government get their money back? Taxes. And where does this taxes come from? Well, the taxes are not going to likely come from your gold that's buried in your backyard or the taxes come from these guys that are constantly rolling over your equity accounts, your stocks and bonds. There's lots of taxes in that. The taxes are in when you buy more stuff. They make more taxes. So gold and silver is not really a taxable type item per se. Most of it is bought on the physical. They like ETFs and stuff because every time it's traded, they're making their little bit of tax on it. But when it comes to physical gold and silver, no way, man. They're not going to see any tax on that for a long time, more than likely. And when they do, well, I don't even know. They're kind of afraid of it. And again, they don't want you there. They want you in their bullshit rigged system. And gold and silver is not in the rigged system. Gold and silver is the system. They are slaves. Central bankers are slaves to gold. Trust me, they wouldn't be so concerned with holding it in their vaults. So, folks, for all those of you that haven't been through these markets like I haven't been through $50 silver back down to $12, haven't seen silver at $2.50, $3 an ounce, haven't bought and sold stuff at that level, relax. Of course, the game is rigged, but don't let that stop you. If you don't play, you can't win. One of my favorite sayings, and I usually botch it when I say it often, but it's true. All the games are rigged, folks, whether it's again, they're rigged by this guy, and the big rigger is the central banks. And, it's gold and silver. It's stock market. It's even, like I said, it's possibly even elections. So it's a big casino. The world, our government, and the central banks have become a large carnival/casino. That's my opinion. It needs to stop. The system is rigged for sure. But what I've always said, of course the game is rigged. I'm going to repeat it again. Don't let that stop you. If you don't play, you can't win. You have to play some game, folks, and pick your game very carefully. So, that was long-winded. And this all leads down to what I've been saying for a long time. When you see these dips like this, gold is not going to go bankrupt tomorrow. You're not going to listen to CNBC or whatever your favorite station, Bloomberg, Fox News, or whatever the heck it is that says, good morning, Tim. This morning, gold filed Chapter 7. You're never going to hear that gold filed Chapter 7. In fact, this is the best dip of the year. I would bet you, well, I mean, better not bet, because you never underestimate central bankers. They have the money. They are they run the casino, folks. We can, and what we do is we figure that they can only keep the price suppression for so long with their little games and their little tools, and at some point it's going to blow up in their face. So you have to know how the game is rigged, and that's why I always talk about that website. Where is it? GATA.org right here. These guys know what they're talking about. We're going to get into that in just a moment. And this is the best dip I've seen this year. I put here of the year, but that may not necessarily true. We may see some better buying dips. But so far, best buy dip of the year for sure. It provides good opportunities for you to buy some more gold and silver. And again, if you're new to this, do not panic. Don't sell into this. Do not capitulate. Let's talk about that word, actually, capitulate. There we go. Oh, what did I just say? Don't worry, be happy. This is me right here, because I know this is some of the new folks out there, but I'm going to turn your face into this, because trust me, this too shall pass quickly. It's just a buying opportunity. Oh, where are we? Capitulation. I wanted to bring this up. I've been selling gold and silver since 1977. I've been in this location since 1995. I have sold millions and millions. I don't even know how many millions of dollars in gold and silver to South Florida people here locally. Some, a lot of small dealers, a lot of small. I get guys come in daily that buy an ounce of silver, or once a week, and I get guys that come in and will buy 5,000 and 10,000 ounces of silver. So we get a cross section of all different types of buyers and sellers here. And let me rephrase that: buyers. This is where I was going with capitulation. We have tons of buyers out there. I have had buyers for years and years, and even 2012, after the 2012 crash market, I was selling millions and millions of dollars. When gold and silver was, gold was at its last high. Silver was almost $50 in 2012 before they monkey hammered it down, and we're even going to go past that at some point. Where I was going? I didn't see after 2012 any capitulation. None of these huge whales that bought huge amounts of silver and gold came in and sold it to me. Why is that? I think they felt better, even with the market being down, holding on to gold and silver than they did holding on to fiat dollars. Again, what have I been telling you? This is about wealth preservation. Even the folks that had bought at $30 and $40 an ounce, and I sold tons of ounces at that price on 2012. Those folks are still in the hole a little bit, but none of them have capitulated. None of my customers have capitulated and sold in any kind of large numbers. Some have, few have, but I'd say out of all the millions and millions and millions of ounces that I've sold in since I've been in this location in 1995, or millions of dollars, I would have to say that maybe 10%, and I'm pushing it a little bit there, have capitulated. And what's the word capitulation really mean? Let's take a look. I love this Investopedia. Capitulation is when investors give up any previous gains in any security or market by selling their positions during a period of declines. Capitulation can happen at any time, but typically happens during high volume trading and extended declines for securities. A market correction or a bear market often leads investors to capitulate, or, here we go, panic sell. The term is derived from a military term which refers to surrender. And I can tell you, folks, with certainty, I have not seen any capitulation of hard metal, hard tangible, people that physically own gold and silver. I haven't seen any of that. Maybe ETFs, but I don't really do ETFs. I wouldn't know that. But all the millions and millions of dollars that I've sold in hard physical gold, silver, and bars, I haven't seen hardly any capitulation locally. And it's highly likely that most all these folks would have sold it back to me. So what does that tell me? That all of this bullshit that you see with down prices, when you see these huge down markets, is entirely paper. Entirely, folks. So good definition of capitulation, and something I have not seen. When I start to see capitulation, and I saw it in the 1980s, after that market I did see it. That stuff started coming back in pretty fast, especially at the top. But we haven't even come close to that. Well, after capitulation, many traders think there are bargain buying opportunities. The belief that everyone who wants to sell stock, well, anyway, we'll get into that. I explained the basic of capitulations and why we don't have anything to worry about, because there has been no physical capitulation. And I think that worries central banks, because I think central banks see this gold going out into the hands of the public every year, but they don't see it coming back. And they see it getting slowly sucked up by people, gold and silver. And again, they don't see it coming back. So I think this creates a lot of nervousness amongst central banks as well. And this is why they have to purposely, and I believe they purposely do it, monkey hammer these markets to destroy, basically what it says right here, to create fear and to create capitulation. However, these markets have not. They may have created paper capitulation, and maybe that's even what we're seeing with this Basel III nonsense coming up here. Maybe it's just those paper markets capitulating right now. Perhaps the Basel's going to go through for sure. Maybe that's why we did see this down market. Maybe all that paper just completely disappeared off the market here. Maybe someone sold. Again, there's so many factors here. But it is basic monkey hammering, and it all comes down to what happened yesterday. The Fed was speaking this week. That's why gold got hammered so bad. When these fuckers open their mouth, excuse my language, I hope Marcelo can beep that one out. When they open their mouth, they destroy markets or they create markets. That is not real free market capitalism, folks. But again, that's a whole different story. I'm going to go over the ZH article real quick. I hope I helped you out with some of that talk there. I'm just trying to calm some of you new folks out there. And you guys that have been in this a long time like me, you just know, again, if you have the money, you buy some more. If you don't have the money, you just sit and wait this out. It's temporary. ZH panic. I like ZH, folks, if you're new to this show, too. The reason I like it, because it's not a single narrative like Wall Street Journal or CNBC or Bloomberg's. All of them like to give you one opinion, and if anyone deviates from that opinion, they make fun of them or they call it a conspiracy theory. What I love about ZH is it provides you all different types of narratives, all different types of opinion, and you get to choose the one that you know. I think you're smarter than most news people, folks. I think people that listen to my show, you're smarter than the guy that talks on the news on a daily basis. And I really believe most of the people that listen to me are smarter than the people that are they're politicians. As far as bankers, I don't think we're that smart. Those guys are the geniuses. Look how long they run this show. And they're still rich. Oh, anyway, let's read this. ZH. I saw this article up here in case gold has further to fall. I'm not going to read it. I wasn't too impressed with it. I'm sorry. Panic buying at cash open Horatius Palace plunge. Again, what we've been talking about. I'm not going to read any of the articles in ZH today. I do hope it's on your bookmark bar and you do read it and you do keep an open mind and create your own opinion. What I hate is I hate that people create opinions on corporate media's narratives. And it seems like a vast majority of the public is just a parrot of corporate media. And where does corporate media get their narratives? Well, from their owners, just like the, where is it? The circus here. Here's the owners of corporate media. Here's the owner, and who are their owners? The corporate of the Fed. The Fed. It all goes down the line here. So again, I'll just start to digress here if I can talk more. And as far as gold and silver news, surprisingly enough, nothing in ZH other than that article up there. Just your typical stuff talking about the news this week. And again, initial jobless claims unexpectedly jumped last week. So more jobless claims? That's kind of interesting to me. And I guess Labor Day or whatever to September of this year, pretty much all the states are going to end the stimuluses for all those people just sitting at home, not working, collecting a free check. But can you blame them? I'd like to sit home and collect a check and be able to pay my bills as well. But they don't give me that opportunity because I own a business. They screw people that own businesses, and they reward people that. All right, I'm not going to go there. Sorry. Let's see. We're still talking. This is interesting too. Listen. The Fed speaks yesterday, and what do they talk about that causes the metals prices to go down and causes the, what do we have, a spike in 10-year treasuries to 1.57? Big freaking deal. Why would, again, you're going to see the talking heads on CNBC and the idiots at Bloomberg and the idiots at Fox Business. You're going to see them saying, well, since treasuries are bringing more money and you can park your money there safely, the price, it's going to affect the price of gold. Bullshit. That is just the narrative that they use, the excuse to use to unload huge amounts of paper into the market. It has nothing to do with that. 1.5, 1.6, 2% on a treasury. Who the frick would buy that? What kind of shit are they spinning here? How could you even keep ahead in life and buying that kind of crap at 2%, especially with the CPI that, Their CPI is even beyond that, I believe. So, that's negative interest rates, folks. So them telling you that the reason people are getting out of gold is because they're going to, it's more secure to buy treasury at 1.5 secure too. How secure is a treasury? These people are almost bankrupt, folks, and they're going to take us out with them. Oh wow, I'm on a roll today. Sorry, David Tepper says oil stocks are the cheapest equities. I believe, I was looking at this article this morning. I truly believe that oil, probably like gold and silver, is one of those commodities that the Chinese and the United States really want to keep down. The biggest thing that the Fed and the governments fear right now, and the Chinese are actively trying to lower the price of aluminum, copper, and iron by releasing state supplies to lower the price. So there's some real legitimate monkey hammering and manipulation going on right now to keep a lot of these things low. And I've always felt the United States has always benefited from cheap oil, and that we've been manipulating the price of oil through our government and through our central banks for decades and decades. And that's basically what we do in that's why we've got such cheap oil from Saudi Arabia, because we give them weapons and we make sure they become billionaires. Again, I digress. Futures rebound, that's a joke. Futures rebound as markets fade. Well, this is just showing you where they want you to put your money. They want you to put your money in the stock market because it's highly taxable and they'll make a ton of money off you. The governments will. They want you to put your money into buying TVs, buying new cars. Why? Because they make money off the taxes from the sales tax. They make the money from the income tax for the people that built the car. This is all about taxes. This is all about squeezing more taxes out of you. They will reward the markets that are more taxable. They will not reward markets that are not as taxable. And gold and silver is not a highly taxable market. It's hard to tax to some degree. So they're going to, and again, they don't want you owning gold and silver. They want you owning these taxable products. They want to own gold and silver because it's real money. Oh boy, I need a sip of coffee. Hey, Michael, cheers to you, sir. Let's see here. And you know what? Biden loses it. I think he lost it a long time ago, folks. I'm sorry. Let's move along here to gata.org. Couple good articles in here. These are new. gata.org. If you're you're new to this video, first time watching it, this had better be on your bookmark bar. If you don't know, if you don't have GATA.org on your bookmark bar and you're not reading these articles once a week, then you have no clue what you're doing in gold and silver, period. And the reason you have no clue because you don't know how the game is played. You don't know how the game is rigged. You don't know who the manipulators are. These guys are masters at it. They don't live in their mother's bedroom, so I hope not. They don't live in their mother's basements. So let's take a read of this. I know a lot of you heard that 100 times over, but for the new folks, I always like to repeat that. With Wednesday's Goldsmith, U.S. governments advertise its weakness. Little decent article. I'm going to kind of go over it real quick here. In his commentary a few hours ago in Investment Research, Dave Kranzler wrote, "It's unlikely that anyone either bought or sold real gold at smash prices," reported on New York Commodities Exchange Wednesday afternoon, after the Federal Reserve made its latest announcement about the U.S. economy. Remember what I was talking about, capitulation? Well, the capitulation, as Dave might point out right here, is not in the physical market. It's not gold, silver bars, or coins. It is paper. And I said that earlier here. I didn't even read this yet. So he kind of saying the same thing that I just said, or I'm saying what he said. Mainstream financial news organizations pretended to construe that the Fed statement as being on the tough side because while it acknowledges that inflation aside, it has contemplated 2 increases in interest rates. 2 years from now, folks. So think about this. They've been talking about raising interest rates for how long? Now it's 2 years out. Before it was a year out. They're jawboning, folks. They're jawboning. So the Fed is out there jawboning. They're planning all this. These are deep, deep plans. They've got tactics and plans. And remember we did a show on tactics and plans last week? Do you have a plan? Well, the Fed has the ultimate plan and the ultimate tactics, and they have the money to do it. So more or less, they came out, they jawboned equity markets up, housing markets up, encouraging people to buy all the taxable things. Think about that. And what went down? The untaxable, the stuff that they covet, gold and silver, the stuff they want back, and actually the stuff that they're probably trying to cover their paper bullshit with too as well. This is absolutely manipulation. And again, whatever I've been telling you, this provides you to do what? buy the friggin' dips. This is why you need to know why markets are manipulated. So you're not a fool, and you're not selling into this down price thinking you're going to lose everything. That's what they want you to think. You do the opposite. You want to buy in these markets. That's my opinion, and from my experience in all these years, folks. Ooh, I gotta take a breath. In a free market less controlled by derivatives, such shilliness from the Fed might have sent monetary prices soaring. Instead, somebody heavily sold gold futures in New York, and the price crashed. They sold paper, folks. This was a highly manipulative move by the Fed during the Fed speaking. And of course, the morons in corporate media suck it up and then shoot it back out their fat traps. They have no clue what they're talking about. That's why I always said, if you listen to corporate media when it comes to gold and silver, you will go broke. Fact. Just who did all the selling, he asked, and I like to know this too. Of course, financial news organizations didn't ask, but the sellers were almost certainly major investment banks trading on behalf of the U.S. government. This is why you need to read GATA.org. I absolutely believe this, that the U.S. government, they absolutely manipulate the price of gold through biz and through gold leases and all these things. There's a lot of shit going on, folks, right now. Trust me on this. And this is major monkey hammering manipulation you saw yesterday by government entities and the Federal Reserve. No doubt. Banks that are short, always short metal, never losing because they are not trading for themselves. And again, this is one of the GATA.org's primary points. If you don't know this stuff, you need to read. See what I'm pointing to right here? The basics, confiscation. Read the basics right here. This is going to tell you everything you need to know about what we're reading right here and what's happening now. Okay, let me take a breath here. But a practice of exchange that needs monetary metals price suppressed. So as Crangela notes, GATA long has documented all this stuff, and they have. This is why I like this website. Often with material from governments and central banks themselves. So they back it up with real data and real facts, folks. This is not, again, these are not guys that are sitting there. You need to read this if you're new. You need to read all the, even if you've got this site bookmarked and you haven't read the basics and this stuff, please do today. It's very important. Let's see here. I would read the rest of this, but here, let me see what else they say. On what seems like bad days, the best advice may come from two different and very adversarial, but nevertheless world-changing figures from history. Well, let me see what, he's got a good attitude too, because he knows, like I know, that this is monkey hammering manipulation, and it provides me an opportunity to buy more if I want to, but I'm not worried about this. The day may dawn, Churchill said, when fair play, love for one's fellow man, and the respect for justice and freedom will enable tormented generations to march forth and serene and triumphant from the hideous epoch in which we have to dwell. Meanwhile, and here we are, right? And this one, wow, that's a great saying. Meanwhile, never flinch, never worry, and never despair. And this is the best advice I think we could give to new precious metals people out there that haven't been through these markets like myself. Don't flinch, don't worry, and don't despair. Okay? And from Gandhi, it looks like we have another great one. When I despair, I remember that all through history, the way of truth and love has always won. There have always been tyrants and murderers, and for a time they seem invincible. This is the whole key phrase. For a time, they seem invincible, but in the end, they always fail. Always. Wow, that's pretty heavy. So I'm going to move into, God, there's another article here, and Tom Luongo says, killing all the birds with one pile of gold. And these are the two articles up here. God, it's a long show today, folks. I'm sorry about that, but I guess today deserved a long show. Financial Tom right here posted a long, complicated speculation about what he thinks is the David crowd means to do with the world financial system. It involves selling some national gold reserves through the International Monetary Fund and helping poor countries. A ruse that was undertaken years ago to help bullion banks and central banks cover short positions. So that may be what's going on as well, folks. You need to read this. I'm not going to read this one to you because I could make the show way too long, and you need to do some of this on your own. As I've always said, I'm here to teach you how to fish so you can eat for life, not to give you a fish every day. So, and wouldn't it be nice not to have to listen to me every day? You can do your own stuff. So, let's go into yesterday's video. Pretty cool video, actually, I think, and I'd like to thank everyone for the comments. I really don't know if I have a lot of time to answer all these comments, and we get a lot. I get more and more. When I first started doing these videos, I get like a dozen comments. I was excited as hell. I was like, oh gosh, I can talk to each one of these guys. I say thank you for watching, but it's kind of grown. These videos have, whoa, where'd I go? These videos have grown a little bit, and I'm not getting the luxury of being able to read everybody's posts, and I do apologize. I just want all you folks out there, even if I don't respond to you, know that I really appreciate it. I do. Testing. And Rick Blick says in 1908 was the Hunt Brothers, 2011 was JPM Morgan, and no, they didn't knock it down. No, Hunt Brothers did not knock down the market in 1980. In fact, Hunt Brothers did everything legally. I was there during that market. I watched that stuff happen. I know exactly. In fact, the Hunt Brothers got screwed on that whole deal. Screwed by the banks, actually. They were going to break the bullion banks, the very same people that are manipulating markets today. They were going to break those guys. And the Hunts got their loans jacked from them. And guess who probably did that? So they had a call on their loans. They had to withdraw their positions. They lost huge amounts of money. And then all of a sudden, Comex changed the rules on how you could buy silver. Them frickin' snakes. Hunt Brothers, a lot of people think Hunt Brothers did something illegal. Not at all. They did it by the book. They played the Vegas. Remember what I said about Vegas? They played the rules of the casino, and what did the casino do? The casino saw them winning big, and they changed the rules. Remember, folks, they can do that. Comex is not, they can change the rules anytime they do. They change it to their advantage. So does the Federal Reserve, so does governments. By the dip, I agree. Scott Weeble says YouTube didn't ban her after all. Am I saying something bad out there that would cause a ban? I don't think so. In fact, I think YouTube would probably like me, other than my occasional slip of a curse word. Dobie Dad says, pretty bold prediction after bullion banks hammered gold today. We can hope that Basel III will stop the madness. Yeah, Dobie, well, hey, you saw my video here. I don't need to go over it, so thanks for watching, sir. Circulated walkers. Yeah, I saw this last night. I just want to mention, Wayne asked if that was, no, that's a horrible deal, dude. He offered you 120, and what was that? 20 Alderman days, he offered me 120, $10 face value. So he offered you 12 times face for 90%, and he's selling at 20. That's bullshit. You need to find yourself another local deal, or even if you have to drive an extra hour to do it, sir, that's ridiculous. The premium shouldn't be that high. Benoit, I think of gold, grief after palace interventions, that coined a new term. Hey, folks, I always say GATA.org is homework. I'm going to make Benoit's comments homework, too, as well. You always come up with some great points. Thanks for watching, sir. I appreciate it. And Inspector Jason, I appreciate it as well. I'm going to just try to answer some things here that I see questions that pop up. And again, if I miss your comment, I do apologize. At some point, I've got to end the comment deal or answer one or two a day. I just can't make these shows 2 hours. What is your numismatic opinion about 2020 V75 proof, 70 Ultra Cameo? I'm not a big fan of modern stuff. In my opinion, the best thing to do when the U.S. Mint comes out with new products, sell them as soon as you get them. Take the profit and walk, because 95% of them are going to be worth less 6 months from now. That's just my opinion. Let's see what else we got here. Thanks for watching, guys. Silver stock, we used log. Hey, that was about yesterday's show, and I'm glad you brought that up, sir. We use log so that a 10% move from 5 to 50, 550 appears the same size as a 10% move from 50 to 55. Linear scale makes a 50-cent move at $5 as big as a move from 500 to $500.50. Yeah, I agree 100% because it's a little hard to read these charts sometimes, but I find it easier to read the. I think. Well, I'm not even quite sure. It depends on what I'm thinking and how I'm viewing it. But thanks for bringing it up, Silver. And his comment talks about our show yesterday. Appreciate that. Love the fish. So do I. Paul Newman, man. I actually met Paul Newman one time at a racetrack. Michael, I got my coffee here, and keep buying, sir. Oh, wow, you got a silver quarter out of your register. There's a guy back here that'll pay you 12 times face for it. I'd love to see some content on pre-1933 gold or something on Morgan Peace dollars. Here's the content. How to detect fakes, maybe. Ooh, that's pretty difficult. You know, I've got people that work for me that been here a year that's still learning how to detect counterfeits, and they work here every day. It is not easy on some numismatic stuff. You can tell the crappy ones, but as far as pre-33 gold, not a big fan of it because a lot of it is priced way more than bullion prices. And there's no benefit in owning high premium pre-1933 gold. There is never going to be gold confiscation by the U.S. government. Never. Let me repeat that. I've done shows many times. Never. No good reason to buy pre-33 gold unless you're a coin collector. If you're a collector, absolutely. And the same thing with Morgan and Peace dollars. The premiums are so crazy high on those. They've always has been, even worse now. Do not recommend buying them. There's no advantage to it, and you're never going to have to worry about confiscation, especially on silver. You know, and I know this for a fact. Vinny, Pots and Pans, fantastic. Thanks for watching. Justin Evans says, when silver goes down as it is now, I get excited and try to find any new fee laying around. Hey, I absolutely agree with you. Now provides a great opportunity. I got to be honest, though, I'm a little bit tapped. I'm pretty much bought in personally, and then I was heavily inventoried from last week. You know, any of the metal I sell right now, I'm kind of selling at a loss. However, what I'll do is I'll replace it at these lower levels so it really won't be a loss. And that is really about it. What's the best deals out there? Well, I'm not going to point to particular products. I'll keep this short. The best deals are any silver products that you can pay between $4 and $5 an ounce for. That's the best deal out there. Pay as much as $6 if you have to, $6 1/4, but above that, it's just ridiculous. A lot of silver products tough to get right now too, especially the generic stuff. The cheaper stuff is the hardest stuff to get. I'd like to think it's because of my show, and I've been getting you guys away from the high premium stuff and near the, but it's not. It's not because of me. It's just people out there recognize what the better deal is, and the better deal is generics, not silver eagles. Same thing with gold. Don't pay more than $100 an ounce for any premium for any products in gold. In fact, I'd rather see you stick in that $70 to $85 range. That's my personal opinion. Don't pay big premiums. Why? Why? You're just going to sell it. It's just bullion. If you want to buy something cool and pretty, buy collector coins, buy numismatics. Totally different product. Totally different reason you buy it too. You buy numismatics because you enjoy it. And when you're buying these products, please, as I advertise locally, I only sell local. I don't sell online. I don't sell on the phone. So any of you folks that don't live in my immediate area in South Florida here, you do have to find your own dealer. I can't be your dealer, obviously, unless you come down and see me. I know a lot of you buy online. I advertise to beat APMEX, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, which are 3 very reputable companies. But it's just because I don't have the expenses they do. I can beat them, and I think your local shops should be able to beat them too. And if they're not, point it out to them. Be real polite and say, hey, dude, you know, I'd like to buy from you, and can you match or get close to the prices of the online guys? I'd rather buy from you. And why do you want to have a local dealer? For a bunch of reasons. Jobs, business, community. Keeps the money local. Keeps it in your town. I can't tell you how important it is. It doesn't go off to some corporate behemoth that doesn't benefit your community in any way, just sucks money from it. And I'm not saying that the bullion guys, online bullion guys, or behemoths are sucking money out of your town, but they are in a way, and not, you know, they're here to make money, and they do provide a service for people that have no shops anywhere near them or anything reputable. But meanwhile, try to find a local shop, try to keep it local. That's just my opinion. Hey, thanks for watching. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime at 954-493-8811. Happy to help you out with anything you need. And as I said earlier, I'm not even going to try. Don't worry, be happy. Everything's cool. If you got money, go ahead and hit the buy button right here. Buy some physical. If you don't, just wait it out with a smile on your face, knowing that Mr. Kuzmar just told you exactly what's happening. And with knowledge, there comes comfort. Have a great day, folks. Bye now.